Have you ever noticed the same number repeating everywhere that you look? Or maybe you keep running into the same stranger in the most unexpected places. What if I told you these aren't just synchronicities, but breadcrumbs, leading you toward your purpose? Most people miss these signs completely, but today I'm going to show you how to recognize them and what they might mean, and how following this trail might completely transform your life. And stick around to the end because I'm going to show you a simple exercise that could help you decode your own universal messages. We live in a world of constant noise and distraction. Most of us move through our life on autopilot, missing the subtle whispers of guidance that surround us every day. Imagine walking through the forest focused only on your destination, completely missing the trail's beauty and the markers designed to keep you on your path. Think about it. How many times have you dismissed something as just a coincidence or weird timing? These moments might actually be a part of a larger pattern, what many traditions call synchronicity. Synchronicity isn't about magical thinking. It's about becoming attuned to the patterns and the connections that have always been there, waiting for you to notice them. And when you start paying attention, something remarkable happens. Your life begins to feel intentional. Today, I want to help you to recognize your own bread trail and show you how to follow it towards greater purpose and meaning. Let's talk about what these breadcrumbs actually look like in everyday life. You might be experiencing synchronicity right now without even realizing it. First, there are repeating numbers and patterns. Imagine glancing at a clock and seeing 11:11. Then receiving an order total of 11:11, then being assigned in a parking spot of 11:11 the same day. When patterns repeat with unusual frequency, it's worth paying attention to. Then there are meaningful coincidences, like thinking of an old friend seconds before they call, or perhaps you're struggling with a difficult decision when you overhear a stranger's conversation that speaks directly to your situation. Dreams can also be powerful messengers. Not the random mental processing we all experience, but those vivid, emotionally charged dreams that stay with you long after waking, the ones that feel significant. And finally, there are those inexplicit gut feelings or intuitive hits when you just know something without logical explanation. The question isn't whether these signs exist, it's whether you're paying attention to them. I'm curious, which of these synchronicities have you experienced? Drop a comment below with your most memorable coincidence that felt like something more. And if you're finding this valuable so far, give this video a like so others can discover it too. So how do so many of us miss these signs? The answer lies in how disconnected we've become from our intuitive awareness. Imagine living in a world where logical thinking is valued above all else, where efficiency trumps reflection, where being busy is a badge of honor. Sound familiar? We're taught from an early age to trust external authorities over internal knowing, to seek validation from outside rather than listening to our inner voice. And in the rush to achieve and acquire, we've lost something precious, our connection to the subtle guidance system that's always been available to us. Think about how different indigenous cultures view signs and synchronicity. Many traditions hold that everything in nature, animals, weather patterns, dreams, carry potential messages, if we're attuned to receive them. This disconnection costs us more than we realize. It leads to that persistent feeling that something's missing, that sense of living a life that looks successful on paper but feels hollow inside. The good news? Reconnection is possible. The breadcrumb trail hasn't disappeared. We've all forgotten how to see it. So how do you begin to notice these breadcrumbs? It starts with developing what I call your synchronicity awareness. First, we need to slow down. Our intuitive sense works best when we're not rushing. Try creating small pockets of stillness in your day. Even 5 minutes of quiet reflection can begin to shift your awareness. Second, start keeping track. When something unusual happens that catches your attention, make a note of it. Patterns often emerge over time that aren't visual in isolated moments. Third, ask questions when you notice something that feels significant. Ask yourself, what might this be pointing me towards? What area of my life needs attention right now? And fourth, trust the process. Following synchronicity isn't about having all the answers immediately. It's about taking that next indicated step, then waiting for further guidance. Imagine walking through a dark room with just a small flashlight. You can only see a few feet ahead of you, but as you move forward, new areas become illuminated. That's how this process works. Clarity comes through movement, through action. What's fascinating is how this bridges the gap between spiritual wisdom and our modern understanding of intuition. Researchers exploring how our brains process information have found that we're constantly gathering data below the threshold of conscious awareness. What we call intuition may be our brain recognizing patterns before our conscious mind can articulate them. Which of these practices resonates with you the most? Hit the pause button right now and take 30 seconds to reflect on one synchronicity that you've noticed recently but dismissed. What might it have been telling you? Once you start noticing these breadcrumbs, the next question becomes, how do you actually follow them towards purpose? Imagine synchronicity as a conversation between your conscious mind and your deeper wisdom. Each sign is an invitation to explore further. When you notice a synchronicity event, there are several ways to respond. You can take direct action, and if you keep encountering references to a particular subject, perhaps it's time to explore it more deeply through reading or courses or conversations. You can reflect and integrate. Sometimes synchronicities point to an internal work rather than an external action, highlighting patterns that need healing or aspects of yourself awaiting expression. You can remain open and watchful. Not every sign requires immediate action. Sometimes it's about maintaining awareness as the pattern continues to unfold. The key is to approach this journey with both intention and flexibility. Set a clear intention to recognize guidance, but remain flexible on how the guidance appears and where it leads you. Think of purpose not as a fixed destination, but as an unfolding path. Each synchronicity is less about revealing the entire life's purpose and more about illuminating your next most meaningful step. Now let's talk about a simple practice that you can start today to strengthen your synchronicity awareness. I call this the Meaningful Moments exercise. For the next 7 days, set an intention each morning to notice the meaningful coincidences. Say to yourself, today I am open to guidance through synchronicity. Then each evening, take 5 minutes to record any moments that felt significant, however small. Did you encounter any recurring themes? Did something unexpected provide exactly what you needed? Did a random event trigger an important insight? The key is to approach this with curiosity rather than judgment. There are no wrong answers here, just potential patterns to explore. After 7 days, review your notes and look at the themes and repeated elements. These patterns often reveal areas in your life calling for attention or potential direction alignment with your deeper purpose. Remember, this isn't about forcing meaning onto random events. It's about developing your capability to recognize the subtle connections that have always been present in your life. As we close, I want to emphasize something important. Following synchronicity isn't about abandoning critical thinking. It's about expanding your awareness to include both logic and intuitive knowing. The universe speaks in whispers, not shouts. Learning to hear these whispers requires practice and patience. But when you begin to follow your unique breadcrumb trail, life takes on a quality of magic and meaning that's difficult to describe but profound to experience. Remember that you're not alone on this journey. Throughout human history, people have found guidance through paying attention through meaningful patterns and connections. You're tapping into an ancient form of wisdom that remains as relevant today as it ever was. I'd love to hear about your experience with synchronicity. What breadcrumbs have you noticed in your own life? How has following them changed your path? Share your stories in the comments below. Your experience might be exactly what someone needs to hear. And if you found value in this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more content on intuitive living and finding deeper purpose. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video where we'll explore how to manifest a happy, healthy life. Until next time, stay open to the whispers of guidance all around you. Your breadcrumb trail is waiting.